A 3-person team made a 45-minute art film in 20 days. A 6-person team made a feature-length animated film in 3 weeks that went on to win Best Feature Film in the AIGC category at the Beijing International Film Festival. A self-taught creator built a cyberpunk universe using only his own face and now charges over 300,000 yuan per ad. These aren't tech demos, they're finished, watched, awarded work. And the people who made them have a specific, consistent message that cuts against almost everything you've heard about AI replacing creative work. It's always humans who get eliminated, not by AI taking the job, by other humans doing the job better. I'm Alex, this is The Read AI. In practice, AI filmmaking has split into 2 distinct approaches, and understanding both tells you something real about where this medium actually is. The first is mixed production, blending AI-generated footage with real shot scenes. Independent director Nick Sheng Liang's film Reaching the End of the World is roughly 80% AI-generated, with the remaining 20% shot for real. The reason for the mix is technical and specific. AI-generated shots currently max out around 15 seconds, which isn't long enough for certain narrative moments. A person cycling into the distance, someone walking slowly across a wide frame. Those long, patient shots that art films depend on still need a camera and an actor. The interesting part is that audiences can't tell which scenes are which. Nick describes that as where AI is genuinely strong right now. Not flashy spectacle, but seamless integration that disappears into the story rather than announcing itself. His team deliberately discarded the most visually impressive AI shots they generated because the film's aesthetic depended on restraint. Clouds, fog, and rain in the film follow the actual logic of weather rather than reaching for surreal spectacle. That's a directorial choice, not a technical limitation, and it's the kind of decision that separates a filmmaker using AI from someone simply generating content. The second path is full-process AIGC, AI dominating the entire production from start to finish. Director Liu Qi's team took this route for a 45-minute animated narrative film completed by 6 people in 3 weeks. The workflow innovation that made this possible was sequencing. They moved voice recording earlier in the process. Previously, lip-syncing AI video happened last, after editing, slow and unreliable. Liu Qi's team records the dialogue first, then generates video matched to the audio, a small reordering that changed the entire production timeline. Both approaches converge on the same finding. The technical ceiling for what AI can produce keeps rising, and the limiting factor is increasingly creative judgment, not capability. Here's the part of this story that breaks the standard assumption about AI and creative control. You'd expect serious filmmakers to want maximum control, to treat AI as a tool they direct precisely, the way a camera cinematographer directs a camera. Almost every creator interviewed described the opposite instinct. AI content creator and MCN founder Ro Xiaowo deliberately leaves prompts half-specified, letting the model fill in gaps on its own. He compares the result to drawing a rare card in a game. When the AI surprises you with something better than you imagined, the excitement is real, and the result often makes the work better. His direct argument is trying to control AI 100% makes the process worse. The model being unpredictable, what he calls disobedient, is where better ideas come from. Nick Sheng Liang described a specific moment from his shoot. He wanted a character to simply look at a patch of grass. What the AI generated instead was 2 steps forward, a half turn, a particular facial expression. Wasn't what he asked for. He kept it, adjusted the scene around what the model gave him, rather than forcing the model toward his original plan. Liu Qi found the same thing with camera movement specifically. Leaving that element open to AI generation consistently produced results her team wouldn't have planned and were glad to have. This is a genuinely different creative relationship than AI as obedient tool. These filmmakers are describing something closer to collaboration with an unpredictable creative partner, one whose unpredictability is the point, not a flaw to be engineered away. Most of the narrative decisions still belong to the human team, but the room deliberately left for AI's own output to surprise them is treated as a feature of the medium, not a limitation of current technology. The most concrete technical milestone in this story is one most coverage of AI film has missed entirely.
Nick Shangliang's team built a workflow using open-source AI tools that converts 2D AI-generated film into native 3D files playable on standard cinema 3D projection systems. The quality, he says, approaches traditional 3D production. Combined with newly available native 4K generation capability, the technical barrier to theatrical screening has effectively been removed. Cinemas require a minimum of 2K. Native 4K AI generation clears that bar with room to spare. What's left isn't a technical problem, it's a policy problem, whether regulators and theater chains will treat AI-originated film as eligible for theatrical release on the same terms as traditionally produced film. Nick reports that traditional film industry executives have already approached him directly, asking when AI films might enter theaters and how the technical standards should be measured. That's a notable signal. The traditional industry isn't dismissing this work as a novelty, it's asking operational questions about how to fold it into existing distribution pipelines. If theatrical AI film does establish itself, the implication is structural. A mature AI production pipeline that meets cinema technical specifications could let major studios incorporate AI generation into standard production processes, not as a gimmick, but as a regular tool sitting alongside traditional cinematography. The economic story underneath all of this is the one with the biggest long-term implications. Traditional animation production operates at industrial scale, large crews, specialized roles, months or years of work. Liu Qi's 6-person team made a 45-minute animated narrative film in 3 weeks. That's not an incremental efficiency gain, it's a different order of magnitude entirely. The organizational logic explains why. In a traditional crew, specialization is the structure. One person handles keyframe animation, another handles model rigging, another handles performance capture, with an editor stitching everything together at the end. AI production collapses those roles. Liu Qi describes the new skill profile precisely. A single artist generating footage now needs to understand art direction, character and scene construction, costume design, performance, and editing simultaneously, because all of those decisions happen inside the generation process itself, not as separate downstream steps. Nick Shangliang's 3-person team went further, operating on what he calls director-screenwriter integration. When the two people are discussing a scene, the prompts and shot composition are essentially already decided in that conversation. No handoff, no translation layer between creative intent and production execution. This compression has a specific consequence that Ro Xiaowo states bluntly. The technical barrier to making AI content is now low enough that almost anyone can do it. His exact example was a security guard in his apartment complex, given the right prompt template. But when the floor for technical execution drops to nearly zero, the only thing left that differentiates work is taste, judgment, and original creative vision. Ro Xiaowo's read on this: when everyone can produce something, genuinely good work becomes scarcer and more valuable than less. That's the inversion at the center of this entire story. AI didn't lower the bar for quality creative work, it raised it by removing every excuse related to budget, crew size, or technical access, and leaving only the question of whether what you made was actually good. The headline framing for this piece is worth sitting with directly. It's always humans who get eliminated, not by AI taking the job, by other humans doing the job better. Every creator in this story had years of preparation before AI tools existed in the current form. A decade in independent film education, years in commercial advertising, 7 or 8 months of unpaid work driven by genuine commitment, continuous investment in building a specific creative universe. The AI tools didn't create their talent. The tools removed the production cost barrier that used to be the gatekeeper between that talent and a finished distributable work. Photography never eliminated painters. It changed what painting needed to be for, and it let more people become observers and recorders of the world around them. The filmmakers in this story are betting that AI film does the same thing, not replacing the people who can tell a story worth telling, but removing every obstacle that used to stand between a good idea and a finished film. Subscribe to the Read AI for just the stories that actually matter. Drop a comment. Do you think AI-generated film can carry the same emotional weight as traditionally shot work, or is something genuinely lost in the process? I want to know what you think. Share this with a filmmaker or creative who's still on the fence about using AI in their work. I'm Alex. I'll catch you in the next one.